Is Drain Magicka worth using? No. If you want to know how good the Feather spell is, see this video next. Thanks for watching. Oh, you wanted to know more? Well, I guess in my infinite mercy I can tell you why it sucks so much. In terms of costs, Drain Magicka costs a little bit less than Frost damage. 100 points of Frost damage on touch costs 50 Magicka, while 100 points of Drain Magicka costs 40. For comparison's sake, that's exactly half of how much damage Magicka costs. Now, if you don't think about it too hard, this may sound like a good deal. But consider this. Drain means that the effect is temporary. The Magicka returns after the spell ends. This means that the spell needs both a high duration and a high magnitude in order to achieve its intended effect. Draining 100 Magicka from an enemy mage for 10 seconds on touch costs 220 Magicka. 220. Keep in mind that after the 10 seconds are up, the enemy gets their Magicka back, and you've just wasted 220 Magicka of your own for no reason. Meanwhile, you can spread the effect of damage Magicka over a longer duration to make it cheaper. 10 points of damage Magicka for 10 seconds costs only 44 Magicka, and the effect is permanent. This is disregarding the fact that many mages are going to have more than 100 Magicka, and it's not unusual for a mage to have more Magicka than they do health, sometimes even twice as much. So considering that, it would be many times more efficient to just target their health instead, especially since Drain Health costs the exact same as Drain Magicka, and Drain Health actually kills the target if they have less health than the magnitude, so 1 second spells can be deadly useful. Remember, a mage is not necessarily useless just because they are out of mana. And in case you missed it, Fire and Frost damage are just slightly more expensive than those spells, but their damage is actually permanent. Still, if you want to remove a mage's ability to cast, you have some options better than Drain. You can use Silence or Paralyze. A 10-second spell on touch of either Silence or Paralyze costs 23 Magicka, although it is true that they can be resisted by willpower. Another option would be Damage Intelligence. When your enemy's intelligence is 0, they can't cast spells. 0 intelligence means 0 Magicka. And your NPC enemies will finally learn how it feels to be you. Damage Attribute costs the exact same as Damage Magicka, and again, you can spread the damage over a longer duration to make it cheaper. And whereas some enemies may have 300 or even more Magicka, I sincerely doubt you are going to see many NPCs with intelligence over 100. And if you absolutely insist on using Drain, you can use Drain Attribute instead. It's 25% of the cost of Drain Magicka. In that case, you don't need to worry about whether 100 magnitude is enough or not. It's always enough. Unless your enemy is a Breton or Orc with their Resist Magicka racial bonus. All of this to say that in my humble opinion, Drain Magicka is just too expensive to be worth using, and there are far better alternatives. Fortunately, Bethesda has learned about this, and in Oblivion, Drain Magicka is significantly cheaper. It's much cheaper than even Drain Health, and I already talked about how stupidly cheap Drain Health is in Oblivion. At 75 Destruction, 100 points of Frost damage on touch costs 129 Magicka. 100 points of Drain Health on touch costs 15 Magicka, while 100 points of Drain Magicka costs only 3 Magicka. Now, of course, Drain Magicka with a 1 second duration is completely pointless as a debuff. Yes, let's restrain the enemy mage from using 1/3 of their Magicka for 1 full second. However will they survive this unsurmountable obstacle? But 10 seconds of Drain Magicka costs only 31 mana, while 30 seconds is still fairly cheap at 94. Now, as you know, in Oblivion both NPCs and the player regenerate Magicka. Drain Magicka, like in Morrowind, only temporarily makes the magicka unavailable, but that portion will not regenerate until the spell ends. While your enemy will get it back, they won't get it back until then, unless they use the spell. By the way, the magicka lost by using damage magicka is permanently removed, but it can immediately start regenerating. It is for those reasons that drain magicka could actually be useful in Oblivion. I think. I like other spells better, to be honest. It kinda feels like I'm shitting all over a lot of Morrowind spells, but the problem is usually not with the spell effects themselves. It's always with their comparative costs. Drain magicka is one of the biggest victims of this, due to how it works. Here we have a temporary debuffing spell that costs a lot more than permanent debuffs, and a lot more than direct damage. So, there's really not much point in using it. If you want to see how good the Disintegrate spell is, see this video next. By the way, if you think I'm doing something better than other YouTubers, please let me know. Yes, please tell me how I am not like the other girls. No, but for real, I want to focus on what I'm good at, and it's always easier for others to tell you what you're good at, rather than yourself. Thanks for watching.